Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Today, we are going to discuss the biggest industry that lies right on the palm of your hand. Now, you may be wondering, what am I talking about? Obviously, I'm talking about this. Well, not exactly this. I am talking about the industry which helps you run this, the telecommunication industry. We, Group 8, welcome you all to the industry analysis of telecommunication. First, we will be going over the industry overview of India and US, that how the telecommunication runs in India and one of the first world countries. Next, we have the value chain of telecommunication. Then we have the industry analysis of telecommunication with the help of Porter's five forces, and we also have the business environment analysis with the help of Pestle. Next, we go into the critical success factors which help us run this industry and how this industry grows. Finally, we have the big market players in the Indian industry. And as an investor, obviously, you want to know your financials. We have financials and the insights we get from them at the very end. Let's start with the Indian telecom industry in a nutshell. Well, TRAI, or the Telecommunication Regulatory Authority of India, helps us keep a regulation on the Indian telecom industry. The Indian telecom industry, being the second largest in the world, has a size of $48.61 billion in 2024, and it is expected to grow at $76.16 billion at a rate of 9.40 CAGR every year. The telecommunication density or as we say, the penetration of telecommunication stood at 84.88%, with 788.77 million people have subscription to broadband and 1.16 billion having a telecom penetration. The major players in this market were Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel, Vodafone Idea, MNTL, and BSNL. Now, if we compare this market to a developed country, for example, the US, we see a completely different picture. The US is governed by the Federal Communications Committee. The market size of the US stood at $443.12 billion, which is one of the largest markets of telecommunication. It is expected to reach a size of $530 billion by 2029, and it is growing at a rate of 3.67 CAGR. The major players in the US market includes AT&T, Virgin, T-Mobile, US Cellular, and Comcast. Now, I will hand over to my team who will give you the insights of the value chain. Please take over.
Now, we will explore the value chain of the telecom industry, which is the key driver of global connectivity. The telecom value chain consists of five main stages. First one is market research and consumer insights. Telecom companies first study market trends and consumer preferences to design services and strategies that meet consumer needs. This foundational step ensures that their offerings are relevant and competitive. The second stage is network planning and design. Once the market is understood, the network is designed. This involves planning where infrastructure like towers and cables should be placed to ensure optimal coverage and performance. Third stage is network deployment and installation. Here, the network is built. Towers are erected, cables laid, and equipment installed. This is the groundwork that allows telecom companies to provide their services, and it's critical to ensure the infrastructure can handle the load. The fourth stage is network operations and maintenance. Once operational, the network must be maintained. Teamwork continuously to monitor and improve performance, preventing disruptions and ensuring the system is reliable for customers. And the last stage is mobile and broadband services provision. Finally, telecom companies deliver services to consumers and businesses. Whether it is mobile data or broadband internet, this stage connects the end-to-end change with the end users. Next, we are moving to the supporting activities of telecom value chain. Alongside these primary activities, several supporting activities help telecom companies running smoothly. The first one is information technology. IT infrastructure supports the entire operation from billing to customer service. As technology advances, IT becomes even more essential in maintaining seamless operations. The second one is human resource management, which is skilled professionals are the backbone of telecom operations. HR teams ensure companies recruit, train, and retain the talent needed to adapt to technological changes. The third one is financial management. Telecom projects are capital intensive, and sound financial management ensures companies can continue to invest in network upgrades and expansions. Other important activities include legal and regulatory compliance, data analytics and business intelligence, cybersecurity management.
On to reasons for growth in the Indian telecom industry. The Indian telecom tower sector grew by 65% in the last 7 years. The mobile network towers increased from 4 lakhs in 2014 to 6.6 lakhs in 2020. The mobile transceiver base stations have increased by a whopping 187%, that is from 8 lakhs in 2014 to 23 lakhs in 2021. India is predicted to have 920 million unique mobile customers by 2025, which includes a whopping 88 million 5G connections. This huge number in 5G technology connections is expected to add 450 billion US dollars to the Indian economy between 2023 and 2040. Some of the primary leading factors to the segment's rise can be attributed to use of more than one device per user, high rates of replacement, as well as transition from traditional phones to smartphones as the prices for the said smartphones drop. Now, moving on to the reasons for growth in the US telecom industry. The US telecom industry is obviously a leader in the telecom sector all over the world, and it's usually at its peak right now. And the reason for its peak is usually because they always are the ones creating a roadmap for the said industry. And right now they are doing the same again through the deployment of next generation 6G through strategic alliances. US also has a smartphone adoption rate of a whopping 83%, which is expected to rise to 85% in 2025. US is obviously one of the global leaders in 5G adoption now, and that is also proven by the fact that they are expected to have 5G adoption of 68% by the end of 2025. Now, moving on to the critical success factors for the success of telecom industry, there is an embrace of using advanced technologies like 5G and upcoming 6G, and that is very rapid. So there is a constant change that is obviously required in the ever constantly changing world. There is also an expansive network coverage through so many mobile towers now. There are strategic partnerships as well as collaborations between upcoming startups as well as the existing companies. Now, the companies also prioritize customer experience as well, and they are expanding market reach and service through various means for their reach as well as providing service to the customer.
So let's take some insight from Michael Porter's five-factor analysis and dive into Indian sector, followed by the US sector analysis. For starters, this industry has a low threat due to close substitutes as there's only few large equipment suppliers. Therefore, the switching costs are high and causes high disruption to operations. The industry battle is also high due to aggressive price battles and frequent promotional schemes. The tries, regulatory compliances, and huge capital investments make it difficult for the new entrants to explore this market. Though consumers have a greater edge here due to low switching costs, which gives them the higher bargaining power. Now let's take a turn to US sector and check what insights we can get from here. We can see here that the industry too poses low to moderate threat as the fundamental nature of services lowers the danger from direct substitutes. Also, reliance of this industry upon few technology and equipment providers gives them reasonable power as switching costs between suppliers involves huge costs and operational changes too. There's low threat of new entrants as it's capital intensive industry with stringent licensing and compliance requirements. Also, competition is very strong between the few operators in the US telecom sector, that is Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Here, service quality, network reliability, and packaged offering is important to US consumers, which brings down the moderates the bargaining power of buyers.
Coming to the telecommunications industry special analysis, this framework will help us understand the macro environmental factors that impact industries and companies. First, let's talk about political factors. These generally include government policies and regulations that shape the telecom industry. Digital India Initiative. In India, the government's Digital India program has aimed to make online services accessible to all citizens. This initiative has been particularly beneficial for telecom companies by extending their reach to rural areas. Increase in FDI. The Indian government allows 100% FDI in the telecom sector under the automatic route. Next, we have economic factors, which include inflation, consumer spending, and overall economic growth. Inflation can significantly impact the telecom industry. Rising cost of equipment and services can force consumers to cut back on usage. The demand for telecom services is closely tied to economic growth. With more employment and educational opportunities, people are increasingly using mobile phones and internet services for work, learning, and entertainment. Moving on to social factors, these consider how societal trends and demographics influence the telecom sector. The growing reliance on mobile phones and internet services for day to day activities like shopping, communications, entertainment has fueled demand for telecom services. A large youth population in many regions is highly engaged with digital platforms, creating a demand for more innovative telecom services and digital content. Technological factors. These are very critical in the fast moving telecom industry. One of the most significant technological changes is the rollout of 5G networks. The increased speed and reliability of these networks have enabled advancements such as smart cities and autonomous vehicles. Telecom companies are highly investing in 5G infrastructure. Also, the advancement in devices have already also helped the telecom industry. Environmental factors. These consider the industry's impact on the planet and how companies are adapting to climate related challenges. Telecom companies are under increasing pressure to adopt sustainable practices. This includes managing e waste disposal, reducing energy consumption, and implementing eco friendly solutions. Telecom companies need to ensure that their network remains resilient during extreme weather conditions such as floods or hurricanes. Finally, we have legal factors, which cover regulations and laws that affect how telecom companies operate. Telecom companies must adhere to various regulations, especially those related to spectrum usage, data privacy, and consumer protection. In India, the TRAI is responsible for overseeing these regulations. In conclusion, the telecom industry is influenced by a variety of factors, from government policies to environmental challenges. Understanding these factors through pressure analysis helps companies anticipate changes in the market.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about the major players in the Indian telecom industry and the competitive strategies they employ to navigate this highly dynamic and competitive market. The Indian telecom industry is primarily dominated by four key players: Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel, Vodafone Idea, and the state-run operators BSNL and MTNL. Each of these players follows a unique strategy to capture market share and target distinct customer segments. Let me start with Reliance Jio, a disruptor that fundamentally transformed the Indian telecom industry. Jio entered the market in 2016 with a disruptive strategy, providing free voice calls and incredibly low cost 4G plans. This forced the entire industry to lower prices, driving mass adaptation of mobile internet services across the country. Jio's key differentiator is its focus on creating an integrated digital ecosystem, offering services beyond telecom such as Jio TV, Jio Cinema, and Jio Savan, thereby increasing customer stickiness and engagement within its ecosystem. From a strategic perspective, Jio's aggressive pricing model, paired with its modern infrastructure, has enabled it to achieve significant economies of scale, making it the industry's undisputed cost leader. Jio's ARPU stood at 178.2, reflecting its focus on affordable services that appeal to the mass market. By targeting the broader population, Jio has captured the largest market share, reshaping the competitive landscape of Indian telecom. Now, moving on to Bharti Airtel, one of the longest standing players in the industry. Unlike Jio, Airtel positions itself as a premium service provider, emphasizing network quality, customer service, and a premium brand image. Airtel's strategy focuses on capturing higher ARPU customers through postpaid plans and bundled services such as subscriptions to OTT platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime, which it offers in its plans. Airtel does not compete on cost, but rather on service quality, network reliability, and customer loyalty. As a result, Airtel has the highest ARPU among the major players, reaching rupees 193. Airtel has also heavily invested in expanding its 4G network and rolling out 5G trials across the country, ensuring that its premium customer base receives the best possible service. Let's turn to Vodafone Idea, a player that has significant challenges in recent years. Following the merger of Vodafone Idea and Idea Cellular in 2018, Vodafone Idea became one of the largest telecom operators. However, it has struggled with financial instability and intense competition, particularly from Jio. Despite its struggle, VI has continued to focus on offering competitive pricing to retain its subscriber base, particularly in rural and semi-urban markets. VI has differentiated itself through extensive network coverage, especially in rural areas where it remains a key player. However, its ARPU of Rs 135 lags behind Jio and Airtel, highlighting the financial challenges it faces in sustaining profitability. VI's inability to raise tariffs aggressively due to the fear of losing more customers reflects its delicate financial position and cautious approach to pricing. Lastly, we have the state-run operators BSNL and MTNL, which focus on serving niche markets. BSNL has a strong presence in rural areas and regions where private operators have less commercial interest. It benefits from government support and focuses on providing affordable services to underserved areas. However, BSNL struggles with legacy infrastructure and limited technological advancements, resulting in a low ARPU of around 100, much lower than its private competitors. MTNL, on the other hand, operates in metro cities of Delhi and Mumbai, providing basic telecom services such as FTTH services. While it has some strategic advantages in urban areas, MTNL faces significant financial and operational challenges with limited potential for aggressive growth due to legacy costs. Both BSNL and MTNL play a niche role in the market, focusing on specific areas where they leverage government support and offer services at more affordable price points. In summary, the Indian telecom market is characterized by a combination of aggressive competition, cost leadership, and premium service differentiation. Reliance Jio leads with its disruptive pricing model and integrated digital ecosystem, driving high customer adaptation rates. Bharti Airtel has successfully carved out a premium segment, offering superior service quality and targeting high-value customers. Vodafone Idea, while facing significant challenges, continues to hold a place through its network coverage and competitive pricing. BSNL and MTNL focus on underserved regions, leveraging government support to maintain their relevance in the market.
So let's move forward towards the most awaited part, that is numbers. So on the screen, you can see we have compiled telecom industry data. The source of this data is S Analyzer. We have presented marginal ratios, performance ratios, and efficiency ratios written on capital employed. When we take an average of last 10 years, it averages out to be negative 10.5%. So you might be wondering, when major players such as Airtel, Jio, and VI are in profit, how can industry average be in negative? So the answer to this question is the number of companies that get into the consideration while calculating the industry average. Here you can see that number lies between the range of 60 to 90. This shows that giants are in profit, but they are relatively low in numbers. And when we are calculating the average, the losses of the smaller company takes over the profit of larger companies, and the average shift towards the negative side. This will get more clearer as you can see on the next slide, the industry versus top company return. Here you can see ROE, ROCE. While comparing industry averages with the respective companies, the industry average seems to be ROE industry seems to be negative 46.6%. While comparing it with Reliance and Jio, they are in positive. And at the same time, BSNL is in negative 15.16%. Here, we would also like you to focus on EBIT and pre-tax margin. Here you can see a significant difference between these two ratios. This shows that interest plays a very important role in telecom industry, which helps us conclude that this is a capital intensive industry. With this, we conclude our presentation. Thank you for being a very lovely audience.